Aloha, friends, fam. Let's get this Superman stuff started. Audio coming through, okay? Yeah, it's going. Good. Beautiful. Alright. That's how it gotta be. Alright. Superman. So, a few things to always remember about Superman. Every time you draw Superman, he has to have that embodiment of hope and prosperity and positivity, really. So the angles you always want to work. You always want to be making like, you know, U angles where things are pointing upward, and just kind of always like a hopeful pose. As far as like superheroes go, he's like the guy when it comes to like positive shapes and figures and things like that. So not really sure what kind of pose I want to do. I was kind of thinking maybe he could do like one of these. Maybe he's just kind of looking over at us from the side or something. Let's start like this. Oh my. There we go. Move that over. Never be afraid to go too big with the muscles on Soups. He's a pretty large dude. Pretty large man. My work is blowing me up right now. Always something important going on, but... And the thing whenever you do Superman is you can kind of always like this is a lot of background space here, right? So what you can always do is like play with the space a little bit and do some like background stuff if you want. Not necessarily always, you know, have to do it, but I always like kind of putting him in clouds, just some happy little clouds here. And then always imply there's some birds, and then of course you got the cape. The cape can kind of just act as like, you know, if this is our, you know, we'll talk about composition real quick, I guess, but like let's say, you know, this is our foreground shape here, right? So this is taking up majority of our image. There's not a lot we have to do to lead the eye into it. But sometimes, let's say if it was smaller, if the main part of our object was, that's kind of what I always think about as well. It's just that kind of the small stuff. Oops. Feel free to stop by in the chat, ask questions, you know, if you got a YouTube account. Swear to God, this dog, man. Every time I want to stream, she's just going absolutely nuts. It's ridiculous. No one's even outside. No one is even outside. It's ridiculous. Shut up. No one is here. It's like 2:30. Old B-Rad's not even home. Finding that jawline here. And then you always want to kind of map out the dimensions of the face. Eye line, mouth line, nose line. Or eye line, nose line, mouth line. Something like that. That neck. It's a big neck. It's a big dude. And kind of just keep on sketching until you kind of get what you want. As far as the eye line goes, usually, I think the ears usually kind of go in between the eyes and the nose. So you just want to kind of just sketch them in like that. Not sure what's going on with that neck there, but we'll figure it out. And then yeah, again, just play with the cape. Play with the cape, play with shapes. Always have the cape doing crazy stuff. Flapping in the wind here. And also you can add another graphical element to look at too when you throw the cape in with Superman. Welcome. Hope everyone's having a lovely day with this COVID stuff, man. It's just so insane. Hope everyone's staying safe. Let's map in some features here. I'm gonna do a new. Pop that down. So what I'm doing there, that's basically as if like this was traditional, right? Like I don't have an eraser. Or let's say you had an eraser and this was traditional. Let's say you're trying to move on to the next step of sketching. Basically what you did there was just kind of take the opacity down a little bit, and now you have a base to work from for more refined details. So that's kind of what we did there. Excuse me. Alright, so now we can kind of work in where the eyes might go. And again, the expression on his face always needs to be heroic and positive, so I don't mind doing bigger eyes than what you normally probably do on male figures. These always kind of just go down into the nose here, trying to keep in that center line best you can. Philtrum just leads into the mouth, and with Superman I never do like a full-on smile, right? It's always just a little bit of that confident grin. And then you can continue that center line to his chin there, so that way you can come down here, even do some of this. Starting to look more believable. I think I had the neck a little too long initially, so what we're going to do is just end up bringing everything like up. So now we can kind of move into doing some of the forehead shapes here. That's one thing about digital that I need to get more used to, is knowing that I have the capability to just kind of move my canvas to get lines that I want. That comes with time though. I ain't stressing. And I do always kind of aim to capture a little bit of Christopher Reeve, but I don't, I'm not I'm trying to do like a still life or anything. It's just more of, I have a general concept of what his facial structure looks like from watching those movies probably like 1,000 times. So I always try to incorporate that a little bit, especially when you're drawing Superman. Such a positive figure. Alright, now we kind of get into the meat and potatoes. You're going to start kind of really refine. Actually, always go back and forth here. Turning it on, turning it off, just to see if, like, you know, is there anything I need to keep, anything I need to add, all that kind of stuff from your base sketch. And we're going to move up into his face again here. Keeping this, I think we're just going to end up not even seeing most of this, now that I think about it, because I kind of got this center line going, so we'll just kind of keep going with that. More believable there now. That's cool. Again, like learning all these little things about digital, like stuff like that, is part of the journey. You can see a little bit of his ear, kind of. Not really, but I think for this shot to work, you have to, because you see a lot of this one here from this angle, and it would connect here. Go. And we have his hairline, which technically is going to come all the way out to here on the forehead. But we want to draw his eyebrows here. Fudged it already. Remember, we're going for that happier expression, so you really want to try and get the lines to match that way. And sometimes when you do something so well and you're lazy because you're doing digital, you can just do a little copy paste, and then we can always go up and mirror the layer and then transform it to the other side. You can always just merge it down once you're done adjusting it. In fact, now I see that this one needs to kind of get played with a little bit. A little wider. Come into the forehead a little bit more. Rotate. Beautiful. Oops. So yeah, you kind of, once you kind of get these lines down, the rest is pretty gravy. Nothing too Nothing too complicated, really, after that point. You get all these kind of the baselines down. Not 100% sold on that nose though, so we're gonna give that one another go. Jesus Christ. I've made a grave mistake. How many times can I undo? There we go. I think that nose just proportionally fits the face better than the one I just had. Yeah, if I zoom it out. Oh yeah, that one's way better. Okay, we can keep going. Whew. And so the big thing with Superman is always this hair, right? You do the spit curl. But like what you really with hair, as a general concept and a general rule, you just kind of want to make sure the shape of it is all right before you do anything else. Because there's always kind of this split here on his head that you always see, and then it gets into that big part here, and that's where we get the spit curl from. Is so that there's it's like a comb over situation. And so once you kind of understand those rules and concepts, it gets easier to put hair on Superman. And that ear is just too big. Holy shit. I'm not sure why I made it so huge. Jesus. There we go. It looks a little bit better there. If it's really supposed to be in proportion, it would be there. Might have been an issue as well. Okay, there we go. And then we'll have to move this one accordingly. Like the top of the ear and the whatever goes into this little pocket here in between the nose and the eyes. There we go. Fix the ears a little bit, and then all of a sudden the photo just looks immaculately better. And some people get really crazy with the spit curl. I never really do. It's not my style. There's people that make it like this like actual S shape or whatever. I guess it comes down to do that and a whole bunch of other shit. It's just not. I've never liked that look. I've always liked the more Chris Reeves-esque style, where it's still a ridiculous hair concept, the spit curl, but it's not like a geographical shape. It's more natural to the hairline. I like this, what's going on over here a lot, but this other side of his face is just not cooperating. So realistically, if the hairline's coming across here on the side of his forehead, you can see it. So really, I just kind of look like that at the end of the day. Okay. Way, since it's kind of we're kind of changing this on the fly to like more of a 3/4 view of it. So I'm following my center line. The center of that would be there. Curl over these shapes here. Yeah, that looks better. I think we're getting somewhere now. This might actually be done before, like, 2022 or something. Alright. It's looking good. Nobody in the chat. Rip the dream, dude. And then the eyes, you don't want to draw eyelids, because if I drew eyelids right now, I would lose some of that expression that I want, and you don't want to do that. And then you also want to figure out where he's going to be looking at. If it's right at us, you always kind of do something like this. Try to line up the eyes as best you can. I'm actually going to move his mouth up a little bit as well. Just the way it's sitting right now doesn't really convey that, the look I was looking for. Now live on your channel. Yeah, no way. Been live for a minute, bro. 28 minutes into the stream. Alright. So we've got some pencils down here. They're looking pretty sweet. So now I have this kind of laid out. I'm going to move into some inks. Really flatten that down a little bit so we can see all of those finer lines, but then we don't see all the sketch lines as much. So now we have a more refined looking sketch here as we move into the inking tools, which is really just one brush. I use literally this one brush to do all my inks, because you can do light stuff like this, do some hatching if you want. You can go really thick to really thin, really thick again. So really that's just one brush, and it's really good. But I do have some other ones I can use if I need to. But then you just kind of go back in here, drawing over it again. Bam. And it feels really smooth, and it feels like as traditional as you're gonna get for a digital program, really. So, be there. Dear God, dude, why is my stomach just making so many noises? And the thing is with mouths are that, especially with the male mouth, you never really want to draw that upper lip because it's so in comics, or at least in illustration, that upper lip, when you draw it on males, it just doesn't work, or it doesn't present well. It makes a lot of your male art feminine for some reason. And I mean, it's not like you can't ever do it. I'm just saying, like, in general, when you do that, it makes, it just kind of makes your male drawings lose their, or loses your male characters' strong male definitions that you normally would have. And so now the smile works a little bit better because I'm actually moving and adjusting as well on the fly. Which is, you don't want to usually do that, but sometimes you can get away with it. Do that here, and then line there for the mouth. There. And I usually sometimes will throw on a stroke assist, but right now on this one I'm feeling pretty good, pretty warmed up, so I don't feel the need to. Get that eye shape in there. We'll give a little impression of the eyelid, because at the end of the day, especially with like comic book art, it's about, trying to make the image just look cool, man. Just more than you're good. You don't need to stress out over some random details that really don't matter at the end of the day. Also, by moving the canvas around and stuff, you get to see your art in a different way. It's kind of like, because you're tricking your eye when you move the piece around of whatever you're doing. Because if you sit and you stare at it from from how you're drawing it here, your eye gets used to that, so it can't autocorrect. It can't figure out what you need to fix when you're drawing. But if you move it around and you flip it and stuff like that, and you do all these adjustments while you're in there, it gets easier to tell what's going on with your picture. And so far, I always just do that to see if I'm losing energy from my inks or not. Oop. And so right now it's all good. Yeah, right now it's all good. Cool. Alright, so let's get into this eye. And when I was flipping it, I noticed I actually needed to move it down a little bit, so that's what we'll do here. I'm just gonna move it down a little bit, nothing crazy. And you also notice, like, as I'm doing this, I'm always finding a way to draw from my elbow. I think that's a big thing with younger artists, or like newer artists. They always want to draw from here, even like on a big thing. But really, if you start working from here, your elbow, you get way more fluid lines. Maybe I'll be able to just show you real quick as well. So let's say like there's a big area over here and I wanted to do a line, right? So if I only use my wrist, I can get some pretty decent lines because I practiced it, right? But like if I want to do a bigger line, but if I do this, all of a sudden there's just more energy and there's more consistency. You can see I can do this all day with the same consistency. But if I do this, some of the lines don't hit the same. So that's why we always want to draw from the elbow. Even when you're getting in detail, like even if you're doing a little detail here, drawing from my elbow a little triangle, you don't see like me, doing anything crazy, but like it's easier than trying to do it all with your wrist because you don't have the control of the pressure. But if you draw from the elbow, it can kind of burn your arm out, but at the end of the day, it all looks better when you're doing this kind of stuff. There's just more fluidity, there's more energy, especially the quicker you're moving to paint an object in. So, draw from your elbow. It's like a mechanical thing everybody can learn to do. So I turned the assist on there just because I wanted to get that line correct and I wanted to get it smooth. Same thing for this one. And it helps you establish the line weights better as well. Sometimes you have the assist on. So I don't need as many. Here, I don't mind if that line is super big like that because it's going to get filled with black anyway. Oof. So much of this is also just finding a rhythm and how you're wanting to draw the illustration. And this I'm just playing around here because I can always go back and fill it with black if I don't like it. It's always good to just kind of practice your strokes and stuff like that this way. And this kind of hair on the side of his head, I take from Smallville kind of stuff. Tom Welling's hair was always kind of it was shaggier because they never did the big spit curl on that show, nor did they let him get a chance to wear the suit, which is really unfortunate. Watched him for 10 years, man, and then y'all just couldn't let us see him in the super suit. And then you tease us even more. You bring him back for the crossover this year. on the CW and still didn't let him wear a super suit. I'm like, dude, you had one job. Kind of outrageous in my opinion, but another day, another time. So, yeah, I'll put my soapbox down for a minute. You know, I came here for an art stream, so we should probably just do that. Here I'm moving in just to kind of get this line correct. Not really overly concerned about making sure all the lines line up as well. I think some people go crazy for that. It doesn't matter. There's so many things in art that don't matter that people make a big deal. At the end of the day, if somebody likes a book, they're going to buy the book. Doesn't matter how you draw it. And so it's, for me, I'm more of like on the side of, if the story's good, then it'll sell. And unless the art is just painstakingly terrible, then that might hold it back. But most of the time, if you're an illustrator and you're working for a publisher, like, you're going to be able to do that. Mom just sent us this gem. Oh my. Now that is a quality Art by Jalen throwback pick right there. I'm riding a horse. I don't know if y'all can see that, but I'm riding a horse. And I look good. No cap. I look real good. Yeah, I have no problem showing that on stream. I look freaking good, man. Cousin Grace just sent me that. Little brat. 44. Alright, we're gonna put the speed on here. I think we're all pretty much good on inks. We'll just move down and get his costume done. And the cool part when you do a picture like this, you really don't have to draw the S, and that can be really intimidating to people. Not me personally, I'm just saying, like in general, I know sometimes artists are intimidated to draw the S on Superman, but it's really not too bad once you've done it a couple times. You kind of understand the basic structure of it and how it all comes together. It's not too bad. Oh my. There we go. And this chest is gonna fall right off. I mean, dude, I understand that you have to post that on Instagram, so do what you must. I will help your clout. No problem assisting clout gain for the fam, dude. That's something to keep in mind. His shoulder would be like right there too, so his cape would kind of fly off here and make these wrinkles kind of like so. Be over his shoulder, so something like that. Bring that down a little bit. Always have wrinkles. Yeah, do what you gotta do, man. I respect it. I can't even be mad at it. Because I look good. I'm gonna lie, I look good. If I didn't look good, I wouldn't want it to happen, but I look pretty good, so whatever. In case any of you have never drawn the Superman S before, let's show you how real quick. Essentially, the Superman S, you can think of it like two fish swimming past each other. So if I have a fish here, right? Fishy, fishy, fishy. And I have another fish down here. Fishy, fishy, fishy. Within that, you can kind of see the outlines of an S, or the S that would be in his suit. Something like that. Another thing there. It's a really bad example, but essentially that's what you do on the inside of it. But the shape of it is pretty much just that diamond shape, right? You just go kind of try to make it as straight a line as possible. Line here, line there, and it all kind of meets. Alright. And over the years, the S shape has changed, but it's not really too difficult. So our first fish be this part of the S here, and it's gonna dig in, and then make his head something like that. See, it's a fish, right? And then the second fish, come down, you're gonna curve that S even more. It kind of looks like that, and then the older ones usually have something like that going on at the bottom. And there's your other fish. That's essentially how you do the Superman S in a really quick and terrible way. So yeah, so back to this. Keep going off on these sidetracks and these tangents. The reason why I was bringing it up is because I have to, in this shot, convey the S while remembering what I've already established with perspective, right? So really, that top part of that S is probably the only part that you would see. So it would just kind of come across this way. We wouldn't really see anything else. But the reason why it's okay and you can still tell it's Superman, right, is because we've got all the things that you check the boxes off with. You got the spit crow here. We got the cape gonna fly in the background. We got a little bit of the cape here. Big muscular features. You got the Greek features here on his chin, his ears, and everything. So, when you check all the boxes and you get all those little things, the rest of the piece kind of comes together naturally. You don't have to use as many costume elements to describe the character you're drawing. So as important as it is, the goal for yourself should be like, can I draw a character and have people be able to tell what it is without having to draw the costume on it? Because I've done such a good job of establishing the feel of the character through the piece that I'm drawing. That's always been my end goal, so if some of you artists in here copy that, you'll be good to go. So again, yeah, we'll see maybe a little bit of that triangle at the top here, maybe. It's about all you would really see, realistically speaking. Yeah, and I'm okay with these lines not being super duper clean either. It's okay. Alright, so let's play with the cape a little bit here. Ooh, I liked that fake that we had going on there, but I'm gonna use the little assistant. Beautiful. Yeah, that's all I need. Cool. And the cape can always just be as big as you want. I've seen people draw it like Spawn, where like it's kind of outrageously big, and it's kind of cool. But I think typically you don't see a lot of, you know, Superman drawn like that. And I'm actually going to go ahead and shift this up a little bit because I think we can get a better, yeah, see, this looks better if I move this up a little bit here. And normally you want to do this on your pencil layer, but this will be okay for now. Boom. That's where I'm going to move it to, and then you just kind of come in and clean it up. Shouldn't end up too bad. I mean, it's digital, so you're not going to be able to see too much of it by the end of the time we're done with it. It'll all work out. Remember, there are no accidents. There are no mistakes, just happy accidents, right? Just happy accidents. Thank you, Bob. No mistakes, just happy accidents. And see, now we have all these lines that look a little bit more sensible, I think is the right word to use. You get to see a little bit more of the S as well, which is cool. But you also have to remember to distort it as well. Oh man, there's a big lag happening with my pen. Oops. There it goes. I'm just trying to add a little bit of shadow there on the part of the S that we can see. Just because when you do that, you're able to imply that it's capturing light from somewhere. Maybe this line will go kind of up like that. Yeah. And it's good like that when you have capes to kind of imply all these little different lines of wrinkles and things like that. And clouds, you just kind of go nuts. I don't know how I'm going to drop those in quite yet. Let's move on to the eyes, and then we'll try to color this thing. And typically, Superman's been drawn with blue eyes most of the time. blue or like a blue-green eye color. I've never seen like a brown-eyed Superman. Unless you're talking about the Superman that is actually black, which is from a different Earth, but most of the time the eyes are blue. Okay, that's good. I think that'll work. Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay, so we can just go back in here and clean up, start filling in some color. Which will be super fun to do. When I say clean up, I mean make sure all the lines are connected, so that way you can do fill colors easier. Actually, I'm still convinced that you just would not see this ear at all. If he's turning towards... Yeah, I just don't think you'd see it. If anything, you'd see like that much of it. Yeah, because with how he's like turning his head towards us, it just wouldn't. I don't know. Eyes are a little wonky, so we're gonna fix those. Yeah, okay, there we go. Eyes are just not looking quite correct. Gonna we'll add a place there. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix that. Yeah, I think this will be good. This will be nice. All right. Let's see here. If I want to do that, then I need to seal up all my loose ends here, like so. Make sure this line is solid. That's solid. Let's use the Copics. For Superman, I'm gonna try to get into some skin tones. Just want to try to find a good base skin tone here. It's a little pink side. It's a little on the white side as well. Could do something like this. Good. That's a good mid-tone, I think, for his skin. So. If I just do this. Oop. Fudged it up. Fudged it up. Ah. And then you always have to go back and look where you went wrong. places where it could get through the color. It's broken somewhere, and I don't know where it's breaking at. Is my problem. Extreme art stuff. I have to hold shift, come down to fill in the rest of this. And then move down to this layer, hit fill, and it was E81. Blow. Deselect. Okay, cool. And I'll make sure we're on the right layer. Our thing here, fill in that ear, and then make sure we didn't miss any spots, which I think we did not, so we should be good. Alright, so let's get a little shadow here. E00 is brighter, right? Yeah. So we can actually use Copic markers, what? And blend things together like they're actually real markers. And so the E81, usually it'll tell you the complementary color, but we're looking for E42. So the complicated thing is I kind of want the sun behind him, so this part of his face should be casted in some kind of a shadow, but also I'm going to have some backlighting going on. So it'll be a little bit difficult to get all that, but I think it'll end up working out fine once we get everything in there. One thing I don't like about the Sketchbook program, Copics, is that like the warm grays don't come off its skin like they do when you're using them for real. But they do blend pretty well, kind of like the real deal. So get some cool stuff going on in this program, yeah. wonder if I can just lock layer, hit fill. Yeah, okay. I kind of like that skin tone better now. I think that's what was messing me up trying to color this. I was like, wait, this is just so like ridiculous. And so we're gonna do a little bit darker, right? Give it some shadow. Let's say the light's coming from there, and then there's gonna be some backlight. So let's just do something like this. So there'd be shadow coming into there. All right. We can always just shift the hue something a little bit warmer if you want. That way you kind of get the lighting effect that we're looking for in this piece, which is to have that kind of that sun, that orangey, the kind of orange glow to it. Because we're blending it with the Copic markers, it kind of works out nice. We can always go back and airbrush it as well. Deep with these shadows too. Even deeper. At this point, with the Copic marker, you're really kind of digitally painting as well, which is cool. Because you can go back in and just like blend like you would in real life with these markers. So I think that looks pretty good, all things considered. Just wanted to color in that spot a little bit more. Cool. A little bit of shadow here. And Nothing crazy here, just trying to define the form, you know. And blend in where you can. Make it look better. Very nice. And you can even cheat a little bit too and use the colorless blender. Really get this stuff to go together and look like you wanted it with Copics. You smooth it out that way too. So it looks real nice. Real nice. Because you do get that kind of effect with Copic markers at the end of the day. So I don't think it's cheating to do that here. By order of the court, I believe I am innocent. People that work are a bit hostile at the moment. Not good, Bill. Not good. Okay, let's do his hair. Can we get away with a warm gray? Can that happen? I think we can, by George. Or maybe even a little blue. Toner gray. I'm not sure what that means. But let's just go with that. Usually do this just so I can go in like this, scot-free. Not have to worry about what's underneath it. Now I'm going, as you can see, like as I'm going, I'm going to try to work in some of these backlight effects on the hair. Gives it that bit of life, that volume. Maybe it's Maybelline. Who knows? And so it's gray now. You can always come back with a darker tone underneath and really play with the shadows of it. Where it's going to be at the most light, where it's going to be at the most dark, all that stuff in between. Just really kind of play with those shapes. Again, adding some more dimension, more layers to it. And then come back in with the eraser and trim it out. Just make it look good. Boom. And then I'm using the background color we got here to kind of help me establish the lighting as well. And then if you get really fancy with it, you can do some stuff like that. Play with the smudge tool. I'm just gonna blend that a little bit. Oops. Just blend that a little bit, just for giggles. Because it wasn't looking. So now it looks a little bit more blended, a little more like we do this on a real post-it note. Stuff like that. So cool. Let's go back to that skin tone. And some more shadows underneath the nose here a little bit. Again, just trying to excuse me. See that, people? Cover your mouths. It's not difficult. Crazy thing. And yet somehow people still can't just, cover your freaking mouth. That's looking pretty solid. Happy with that. Let's move on to his costume. Oh, what the hell? There we go. This work? Gymnastics again. Oh wait, that's just the blue part, right? Yeah, never mind. Good. No gymnastics needed. And then let's experiment with the kinds of blues that we're going to be able to. Oh God, bless it. Oh God, bless it. It's real glitchy every time we're streaming. Like, it ended up over here now. What is going on, brother? Goodness. Ooh, I like that blue. Let's do that blue. Yeah. Yeah, that'll work. Definitely got that Man of Steel tone of blue to it. Fill it again, actually. Deselect. Alright, sweet. Yeah, it's got like that Man of Steel kind of thing going on there. So now I'm just gonna kind of imply that there's some stuff going on here. And now we get to choose a red. It's too pink. I like that. Red, violet. Just give me a red, brother. There we go. Always double check you're on the right layer. Beautiful. And then while it's selected and we're already on the layer, we can always switch back to the airbrush and do our effects on it. So I just want to add some shadows to it, you know, just kind of, you know, give it some depth, a little bit of that, a bit of that, a bit of that. Nothing too crazy here. Just kind of. The thing with the smudge tool is it's really cool, but if it, it's dragging the background color as well, even if you have it selected. So use with caution. I think the bigger area it is, the more color it's gonna try to pull. So. The reason why I'm doing the smudge tool is to give it a little character. More energy to it. You can add, it makes it kind of look like real material as well. Do it this way. Not good. good. Not sure why it's picking up the background so much with that. I guess because this layer doesn't have the lock on either. If I lock it, will it do that? Oh, no, it won't. Beautiful. Now we're free. Now we are free to go crazy. Cool. So yeah, do that a little bit. Give it some character. Deselect. Let's move on back up to this. Clean off this a little bit. Just going back through and cleaning up some spots here. Didn't quite get the fill all the way. So, yeah. All right. Do this again. Bam. Bam. Now we find a good yellow color. Like a nice gold. A bit too much. Y15 is a pretty solid yellow color. What does that look like on there? Yeah, it looks good. So it's kind of got the Justice League-y color scheme going on here. And then, drop it down. We can always just airbrush a little bit of a contrast in there. Nothing too crazy. Okay, go back in with the highlight. You're right. Kind of play over it. Yeah. So go even brighter. Blend that in as well. So yeah, you just kind of continuously play with it like that. If this was a painting, I'd be here for the next probably 3 or 4 hours trying to just render my heart's content. I do want to lock that layer. Okay. Last thing but not least, the eyes. Now the eyes, I have a special trick. You never want to make them a flat white, because then they become really flat and boring. always go for kind of a bluish gray. But then after that, lighten it more. Go further towards white, so that you can establish shadows inside the eyeball. And it makes the eyes just kind of come to life a little bit more. For this one, I'm just going to go flat, because I'm going to get done with this thing already. There we go. And then if I want to do the establish a little bit of color, just kind of come in like that. And that way the eyes just don't look so dead. And then we said he had blue eyes, so let's find that nice turquoise blue. Paint tool. Up down a little bit. Boom. Wonderful. And you can always just go with a straight white too and add some I'll have to go above it there then. You can always just go above and just add a bit of love into the little irises. Kind of gives the eye a little bit more life. You need to select that color. Back down this layer. Actually, we might just be able to Shift, select. Nice. Beautiful. Okay. So now we got our Superman going here. If you want, you can always play with like adding stubble. That's always fun. I'm going to use the background as we have it to kind of do some cool effects. I think I have a cloud brush in here. Unless I have, oh yeah, there we go, clouds. Beautiful. Yeah, all kinds of clouds. Wow. Alright, let's do white. And then we'll make it bigger. Oh! That's not what I want. Put this on the background. So, just kind of coming in, put them wherever you want. Just a bunch of happy little clouds. Nothing crazy going on here. We're just in the sky, laughing at birds. That one's so small. Oh, hello. If this one's an actual cloud brush, you can make little clouds like this. Okay, so then now even to go with that, let's do this. Gonna do this, make a fill layer. I'm gonna go with the radial fill. Before we do that, zoom out. And do a radial fill. What we'll do is we'll pretend the sun is behind him, right? Okay, well, that was no fun. Anyway, my program wanted to glitch out on me there. We're gonna do a radial fill like this, right? What we're gonna do is try to replace the colors on this. We're gonna move that a little bit warmer. Boom. Now it looks even more beautiful. this can just be like more red. And bam, now we got some stuff happening there. Alright, so let's merge everything. Do final touch-ups. Final touch-ups, which are hue and color variations, brightness, contrast. I want it to be a little bit darker actually, because the light's coming from behind him. I'll up the contrast a little bit too. That looks good. Just hue saturation. Now we just add a little bit of saturation there, and now we can give him more of like an oranges hue, purpley. You see how crazy this can get? So really what you're trying to do is find that one that matches what you're doing here. And for me, it's kind of... I don't want to give it a magenta, but that green is also kind of gross. I just get a little bit of that, and yeah, there we go. So now there's a little bit more life in the skin tones like that we're able to get from, yeah. So that's why you do it that way. So now what we can do is add a color dodge layer with the airbrush tool. Because it's not. From the color dodge layer. Yeah, I think that'll work. So you add some effects. Oh, the birds. Hold on, we forgot to do the birds. So there you have it, Superman. Oh my. Let's sign this thing. Superman. Thanks for joining the stream. I'm sorry that was so long. I thought I could do it faster, but it's all good. So this will be on my YouTube channel. This will be on Instagram, and hopefully you guys like it. Like the stream, comment, subscribe below. We'll catch you in the next one.